And Cuba's state telecoms monopoly has started offering a limited roaming service for the first time. Cubans can now receive and send emails on their mobile phones, although the service does not include access to the World Wide Web. Our correspondent Michael Voss is in Havana with all the latest details. Michael.
Michelle, Cuba remains a long way behind most of the rest of the world when it comes to internet access and mobile phone ownership. But there's a real hunger here to catch up. And as I discovered on the streets this week, every time that the government opens up and offers new services, there's no shortage of people wanting to sign up. There are long lines outside of Havana's state-owned mobile phone shops. Everyone wants to take their first tentative steps into 21st century telecommunications. Internet over the phone.
I arrived here about 2.5 hours ago, and I'm still waiting to sign up for this new service they're offering.
I have family living in the United States, and I want to stay in email contact. If I go to the internet center here, I can spend a whole day waiting to get on.
It was only 6 years ago that the government lifted restrictions on Cubans owning mobile phones. Now, customers can use them to log on to an internal Cuban email account. There is no access to the rest of the web, but emails can be sent and received abroad. The government used to blame the lack of connectivity on the US trade embargo, which blocks access to the undersea fiber optic cables. 2 years ago, Venezuela installed a direct cable to Cuba, but only now is it starting to have an impact. Internet prices for businesses were recently cut in half. There are also more cyber centers opening around the country, although they are expensive to use. Cuba still has one of the lowest levels of internet access in the world. Most people are not allowed connections at home, although many schools and workplaces offer a government-controlled intranet of approved websites. But even if there were unrestricted use, the United States continues to block Cuban access to a number of sites. These include Google Earth, Best Buy and Skype. There are no cheap phone calls to the outside world. Michelle, another of the reasons that Cuba often cites for restricting internet access is that it believes that the United States wants to use social media to undermine the government here. And now, according to new revelations from the Associated Press, that is apparently what Washington was trying to do by secretly opening up a Cuban-style Twitter network where people could get free SMS text messages to chat with each other. Michelle.
Yeah, Michael, that's right. The AP is reporting that the U.S. government did create this Twitter-style social network to undermine the government by stirring some controversy. What has the U.S.'s response been to this, and what was the idea behind this Twitter-style system?
Well, as far as we can see, the United States had obtained the mobile phone numbers of hundreds of thousands of Cubans, and under a program financed by US aid, they opened up this Twitter-type site for mobile phones, because most people don't have the internet here, called Zunzuneo, and people were able to sign up and get free text messages and free text chat on things like music, sport, even the weather, and people would then communicate. And all of these text messages were free. It very quickly took off. 40,000 Cubans were using this. And apparently the US was using the data on these people to profile all the users, see who they thought might be susceptible to trying to push for change here, for example, in Cuba. But the program ended before it ever got beyond that point. In the end, it was only a chat area for mobile phones, and it was never used beyond that.
All right, Michael, the U.S. has not confirmed or denied this. Thank you so much for that update. Michael Voss, live for us in Havana.